In the chilling embrace of the Roman winter, within the flickering light of a military tent, a man wrestled with an empire, not merely the vast territories of Rome, but the infinite, turbulent empire of his own mind. He was Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, a titan burdened by the purple, yet perpetually seeking the quiet wisdom of an ancient philosophy. His personal journal, never intended for publication, became a testament to this struggle, a collection of intimate reflections, admonitions, and inquiries into the very nature of existence. This is not a tale of triumph, but of enduring, relentless effort. It is the raw, unvarnished record of a soul striving for virtue amidst the chaos of power, the certainty of death, and the ceaseless demands of duty. Imagine the weight of the world, not as a metaphor, but as the literal, crushing reality of governing an empire teetering on the brink. Marcus Aurelius bore this burden. Each sunrise brought fresh reports of barbarian incursions, political intrigue, and widespread plague. Yet, amidst the clatter of legions and the decrees of state, his true battle was fought in the quiet hours, on the parchment of his journal. He understood, as Seneca had urged, that we are born into a world of trouble, and the only way to escape it is to escape ourselves. But Marcus, bound by his role, could not escape. Instead, he sought to fortify his inner self, to distinguish between the clamor of the outer world and the inviolable sanctuary of his mind. He grappled with the inescapable truth that while he could command armies, he could not command the whims of fate, nor the passions of his own heart, without diligent daily practice. The most formidable fortress Marcus ever built was not on the Danube frontier, but within his own consciousness. This was his inner citadel, a concept deeply rooted in the teachings of Epictetus, whose discourses Marcus revered. The core tenet was startlingly simple, yet profoundly difficult to master. Some things are within our power, and some are not. Our opinions, impulses, desires, and aversions, these are ours to command. Everything else, our body, possessions, reputation, office, are external, and thus beyond our ultimate control. For an emperor whose life was defined by control, this distinction was paramount. It was a daily exercise in discerning what truly belonged to him and what did not, a relentless pruning of attachment to the transient. His reflections served as a constant reminder to return to this bedrock truth, to find solace not in dominion over others, but in sovereignty over himself. Against the backdrop of his tumultuous reign, Marcus confronted the stark reality of mortality. Not with fear, but with a sober acceptance. He witnessed plague ravage his empire, claiming countless lives, including those close to him. He knew his own journey was but a brief flicker in the eternal cosmic dance. This awareness, often dubbed memento mori by the Stoics, was not morbid contemplation but a powerful catalyst for living authentically. It stripped away trivial concerns, exposing the core imperative, to live well, to act justly, and to meet each moment with presence. He saw life as a river, ever flowing, ever changing, carrying all things to their inevitable end. This perspective, far from inducing despair, underscored the preciousness of the present and the futility of clinging to what cannot be held. To live in accordance with nature was a cardinal Stoic principle. For Marcus, this meant aligning his will with the rational order of the cosmos, the universal logos that permeated all existence. He saw himself not merely as a Roman citizen, but as a citizen of the world, a part of a vast, interconnected whole. This cosmic perspective allowed him to transcend personal grievances and ephemeral troubles, viewing them as necessary components of a larger, divinely ordered pattern. The changing seasons, the relentless march of celestial bodies, the cyclical nature of life and death, all were expressions of this grand design. To resist it was folly, to embrace it was wisdom. It offered a profound sense of peace, a detachment from the fleeting while fostering a deep engagement with the eternal flow. Our minds are barraged by impressions, sights, sounds, thoughts, judgments. The Stoics understood that our suffering often stems not from these impressions themselves, but from the assent we give them, the judgments we overlay. Marcus, inspired by Epictetus, sought to master this art of withholding assent, especially to negative or irrational thoughts. He urged himself to pause, to scrutinize each impression. Is this truly an evil, or merely my opinion of an evil? Is this within my control? This practice, a rigorous intellectual discipline, was his shield against the slings and arrows of fortune. It prevented rash judgments, curbed anger, and fostered a clear-headedness essential for sound leadership. To assent only to what is true and useful was to reclaim intellectual freedom, one perception at a time. Despite the harsh realities of empire, Marcus Aurelius never lost sight of his duty to humanity. He understood that man is a social animal, wired for cooperation and mutual aid. His rule, as far as was possible in his age, was marked by an emphasis on justice, fairness, and a deep sense of common good. He saw his role as serving the larger community of mankind, not merely his own self-interest or the glory of Rome. This wasn't a superficial benevolence, but a deeply philosophical conviction that reason, when applied universally, leads to a harmonious and just society. His meditations are replete with admonitions to act for the welfare of others, to forgive, and to recognize the shared humanity in even those who oppose us. It was a constant struggle to lead with virtue in a world often devoid of it. Life, for Marcus, was a relentless series of obstacles, yet for a Stoic, adversity is not merely to be endured, but to be embraced as an opportunity for growth. This concept, later popularized as amor fati, a love of fate, was central to his resilience. He viewed hindrances not as roadblocks to his path, but as the very materials from which his path was constructed. Illness, political betrayal, military setbacks, the death of loved ones, each was a test, a chance to practice fortitude, patience, and acceptance. As Seneca wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Marcus embodied this, demonstrating how the very challenges designed to break us can, paradoxically, become the crucible in which our character is forged and strengthened. The Stoic sage is an ideal, a theoretical personification of perfect wisdom and virtue. Marcus, acutely aware of his own imperfections, never claimed to be a sage. Instead, his meditations reveal a man in constant, often grueling pursuit of that ideal. It was a journey of self-correction, introspection, and unwavering commitment to philosophical principles. He knew that the work was never truly finished, that wisdom was not a destination but a continuous practice, a daily sharpening of the mind and conscience. Each day presented new challenges to his resolve, new temptations to succumb to passion or despair. His journal was a mirror, reflecting his struggles and reminding him of the path he had chosen, a path of rigorous self-discipline and unyielding aspiration. The Roman Empire, for all its glory, cast a long, cold shadow. For Marcus, wielding such immense power was a lonely affair. He understood the corrupting influence of unchecked authority, the sycophancy it bred, and the isolation it imposed. His meditations often touch upon the fleeting nature of fame and the hollowness of external accolades. He frequently cautioned himself against the lure of grandiosity and the dangers of ego. To be a Stoic emperor was to constantly guard against the very forces that power unleashed, to remain humble and grounded amidst universal deference. It was a unique burden to be simultaneously the most powerful man in the world and, in his private reflections, a humble student grappling with his own fallibility, constantly striving to uphold virtue against the crushing weight of his imperial duties. Ultimately, the Stoic path of Marcus Aurelius sought not happiness in the fleeting sense, but eudaimonia, a flourishing life characterized by inner tranquility and moral excellence. This state of apatheia, often misunderstood as apathy, was in fact an indifference to things beyond one's control, a freedom from disturbance by passions and external events. It was the quiet triumph of reason over emotion, of acceptance over resistance. He sought to find peace not by escaping the world, but by transforming his relationship with it, by recognizing the inherent goodness in all that happens if viewed from the right perspective. His journey was a testament to the enduring human capacity to cultivate an unshakable calm, a profound inner peace, even in the heart of an empire at war with itself and the world. The voice of Marcus Aurelius, whispering across millennia, is not one of detached academic philosophy, but of urgent, deeply personal struggle. His meditations offer no easy answers, no simple platitudes, but a rigorous blueprint for living a virtuous life in a world that often seems determined to pull us away from it. He reminds us that the battle for inner peace, for self-mastery, is a daily, relentless endeavor, fought not with swords and shields, but with judgment and assent. In his profound contemplation of duty, power, mortality, and the fleeting nature of existence, we find a mirror reflecting our own struggles. His words are not merely historical artifacts, they are living wisdom, urging us to examine our minds, to align with nature, to serve others, and to accept with grace what we cannot change. The Stoic path, as walked by an emperor, remains a timeless testament to the enduring human quest for meaning and tranquility, a quiet revolution of the self that continues to resonate with profound power in our turbulent modern age. The empire may have crumbled, but the inner citadel endures.